What's up everybody, this is Cthulhu. Recently I painted my face and everyone seemed to love it, so I figured I'd do another one, and this time I'd do a tutorial on how to do it because it's super easy. First, I'm gonna put my hair up, a hairband at least, or if you have more hair, a ponytail would be great. And I ended up having to push back the baby hairs with some water because there were still a lot of little baby hairs getting in the way. First, I'm gonna use this fat round brush, and I'm just gonna start with yellow at the beginning of this sunset that I'm gonna paint. And I'm just gonna start in the middle of my face, and you can make the horizon wherever you want, but I just decided to make it like on my nose. So yeah, there you go. And now I wanted to do a green sky because last time I did orange and pink, and I thought green would be a good new challenge. So I decided it was way too dark, so I got my palette and then I mixed the green face paint with the yellow face paint to get a lighter green. By the way, I'm using Snazaroo face paints. It's the only face paint that I have, but so far I've had a good experience with it. So I'm just gonna go in with the yellow-green right above where I put the yellow and start blending it in. And if you don't know how to blend paint, you might struggle with this a bit. I mean, it takes some practice. It doesn't have to be perfect on your first time. The only advice I really have is to just don't give up and keep trying. You will get better, I promise. I wasn't good at first. Just don't quit. I also want to say that you sort of have to play with the face paint a bit. Like, if it's too watery, it won't have good coverage and your skin will show through. And if you have too much, it just won't spread and it will get chunky and there will be bubbles. That's not good either. So you kind of just have to experiment and find a happy medium. I realize the camera isn't in focus here, but that's okay. I promise it gets better. But yeah, this is where I'm at so far. So now I'm gonna add more green to my yellow-green mix because I want it to start getting darker. And I'm just gonna keep adding that right above. Now I'm just going to take straight green and add that above everything I've done so far. This is where I said I'm pushing the baby hairs back now that I'm going to be painting along my hairline. Now I'm gonna add some blue because I wanted some color other than green, so I decided to start putting in blue at the top. So if it doesn't work out the way you want it, which is how it was going for me, you're probably just gonna have to leave it, let it dry. Don't give up, don't clean it off. Just let it dry, and then you can add another layer on top of it after it's dry, and I promise that will make it like 100 times better. You'll notice that I have 2 water jars. I have one for dirty water, so like the first rinse, and the other jar has cleaner water in it, and I just use that to get the brush extra clean and also to use when I'm putting it directly on the palette so I don't ruin the paints and make them muddy. As you can see, I'm going over the blue again, and I decided I needed more of an in-between greenish blue color, so that's what I did. I mixed in another color for greenish blue, and I put that on top of everything else I did as another layer. Now I'm painting the black part of it, which is just like the horizon and everything below it. This part is fun because it's super easy, doesn't require any blending at all. You're basically just trying to get good coverage. Once you go through and get in all the like crevices like around your nose, then you'll probably be ready to go over it again. And like I said, just do another layer so you can get an even velvety coat. And now that my forehead is dried even more, I'm going to add another layer, like I said, to help it be blended more. To get my lips, you could do face paint on your lips, but I just chose to do black lipstick since I had it. It's Wet n Wild lipstick. Again, realize it's not focused. It will get better, I promise. So now I'm switching to a new brush. It's going to be a small, square-ish brush. I'm going to take the black and I'm painting the trunks of the trees right now. I'm basically just putting one wherever I think one will fit. I kind of wanted the ones on the outside of my eyes to be taller so that it sort of frames it a bit more. And now I'm just doing like perpendicular lines across the trunks of the trees to be the branches and the leaves and all that. It doesn't have to be super detailed. Like, it's literally just like painting stripes almost. I'm trying not to make them all the exact same length so that they don't just look like cones. Like, I'm trying to do longer ones and shorter ones and back to long, and then super tiny ones at the top. Now I'm switching to a round brush, and I like this one because it holds a lot of paint. You can get very round, soft shapes. So I'm going to use white just on top of everything else to paint clouds. I actually didn't do this on purpose, but I found that when you use the white just on top of the face paint, it started like mixing the two, so I got this like greenish white. But I think that's okay because I ended up doing highlights on the clouds and I liked the darker part. If you don't like this, you can always just do another layer of white and it will look clean white instead of a mixture. So you can put whatever you want. I put stars in my first face painting. I do end up putting stars in this one, but I also put clouds. Now I decided to put a UFO. I am using my two smallest brushes to paint the UFO ray thing and also the actual UFO. There it is. Wow, good job. Now I'm taking white again with that round brush, and I have a lot of water, very watered down, and I'm just flicking the bristles to add stars. And this technique is called spattering, and I do it all the time. It's perfect for doing stars. I wouldn't recommend putting stars in by hand. Even though you're not trying to, your hand naturally makes them evenly spaced, and it kind of just looks not like stars, it looks more like polka dots. I think spattering works a lot better for stars. It's very controlled. It's kind of difficult to get a hang of this so that you don't make a mess, so I'd recommend practicing a couple times before you do this on your face. And if you've never done it before, I would recommend not doing it like on your bed like I did. Maybe do it with some newspaper or a drop cloth or something. And I'm adding just a couple stars by hand because I wanted a couple like cross stars, you know, like this. You could also add a moon. That's what I added in my first face painting, which you can see on Instagram at Cthulhu. Please follow me. Basically, all of this is just me adding highlights. I decided I wanted some glowing lights on the UFO, and I wanted to highlight the rays even more, so that's what I'm doing now. Adding highlights just like everywhere makes everything pop so much more. I really took my time with the highlights. I find that if you spend more time on the highlights and little details everywhere, then it makes it look like you put a lot more time into the whole piece. So I'm taking the square brush right now. I just have a little bit of paint on it, some black, and I'm using an upward motion with face paint on it to add like grass or brush so that the horizon isn't just flat. So here it is, finished. I will add pictures as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I think it turned out great. I love it, and yeah. If you liked this video, I have a whole playlist full of my art videos. Feel free to check that out. I have lots of other random videos on my channel. Some of them are kind of cringy, so if you want to see the cringe, subscribe. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.